Mr. Amarjeet Sohi, and we are so happy to have you in the studio. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Mary and Tyson and T. Nice seeing you again.
Awesome. So we are quite aware of the things that you're really passionate about because we've spoken to you a few times. But what is really top of mind right now for you, Mr. Sohi?
Well, first of all, I want to start this conversation by acknowledging that we are speaking with each other from the traditional indigenous territory, Treaty 6. For me, being on this land and being successful despite all the challenges that I faced is something I deeply have deep gratitude and appreciation for the ability to build my life on this land. And that's what actually drives me in public office is creating opportunities for people to be successful in our city, build their lives here, find a decent, well-paying job, and if they set up a business, they're successful in doing business in our city, and they thrive doing their business, and also looking after each other. That spirit of lifting each other up is so prevalent in our city. I need to continue to nurture that and continue to build upon it, and that compassion and empathy that is out there, using that to build people's capacity who are struggling to make ends meet for various social issues that we have. And all those things are on top of my mind, including how do we build a sustainable future for our kids, to tackle climate change and issues around inequities that exist in our society. So, those are the things that I'm kind of talking about to Edmontonians, and those are the things that have been reinforced in my conversations by Edmontonians to me, that these are the things that matter to them, and these are the things that matter to me and to our campaign.
Thank you so much. Ty, would you like to take the next question?
Sure. So one of the things we do here on the Girls, we try and ask get you to talk in more detail about your various platform items and try and drill into them a bit more. And one category we were looking at was your. Sorry about this. Um, Specifically, your business advocate office.
Hmm.
Now, what I'd like to understand is how does this differ from current programs by the city, and how does Mayor Sohi see this as critical to your vision, and kind of how that works, right?
So this proposal is very, very important for us to ensure that doing business in our city is easy, convenient, and affordable. We want to free business people to do what they're good at, which is running their businesses and creating jobs. They should not be running around six or seven different departments trying to figure out specific issues that they may have. This is a one stop shop, a window where you go, and the role of this office is to focus on you, to help you whatever you need to continue to grow and thrive in our city. That kind of support is not available in Edmonton at this time. It is scattered around in different departments. And I believe that by having one stop, not only we will create efficiencies and use resources more effectively, but also save a lot of time for business people. Time is money for them, and time
Mhm.
is so valuable. And I believe that if we can save their a day or two or week, it's going to help them do better. But also, the role of the business advocate office is to change the culture of this organization from being an obstacle to enabling businesses to grow.
Okay.
I understand the that everybody should follow the rules. Absolutely, rules are very, very important to follow. But rules are also there for people to understand and follow in a way that they're easy to follow, right? And they're more easy to understood and implement, And but the role of this business office advocate is actually empowering business leader. And when I talk about business leader, I'm not talking about big business. They know how the system works and they have resources to navigate. I'm talking about the mom and pop, small, medium sized businesses. I'm talking about equity seeking groups who want to set up a business, but they don't know where to go. And will
Mhm.
they go to this office and they will get all the help they need to set up a business and grow their business.
Thank
So,
you
follow
so
up
much
question.
for.
No, sorry, follow up
Sorry.
question. Do you feel that, so we talk about combining essentially existing city departments into this role? That's kind of my understanding here. Do you feel that by going that route, would the organization itself be encumbered at some point?
Well, I'm not talking about merging departments. What I'm
Okay.
talking about is, combining and coordinating the resources in one office when it comes to
Hmm.
dealing with businesses, when it comes to supporting businesses.
Hmm.
Transportation will continue to have their, way of department. Planning would have community services, fire, rescue, and everything else, right? But why would a business person would have to go to five different departments to get things done?
Yeah, no,
They
I
should
think
go to
this
one
question is
person.
quite clear, and we have to quickly move on because you have such limited time. So I'm going to ask you about, like how can we help our indigenous communities to feel more a great sense of belonging to Edmonton, and not feel like they are on the sidewalks.
Oh, absolutely. Reconciliation is top of my mind. And I started this show by acknowledging how lucky I am to live on this land. But everyone is not getting the same opportunities. And indigenous communities are being left behind. And many people from indigenous communities are experiencing homelessness, mental health, addiction issues. Others do as well, but a large number of people who are homeless are from indigenous communities. And there are reasons for that because of the historical trauma, because of the colonization of indigenous peoples, because of the residential schools. And all those things cause pain, and that trauma carries on from one generation to another. So I firmly believe that in order to meet the expectations and be really a city that embraces reconciliation, housing is critical. Supportive housing is absolutely essential, and wrapped around services are absolutely essential. Mental health support, addiction recovery, and support through safe consumption sites and recovery centers absolutely critical. But empowering indigenous communities to, uh, uh, you know, tap into their wealth of knowledge and indigenous knowledge that exists out there, and empowering them to take control of the situations and lead the way. And that's my vision to tackle these intersecting issues. At the same time, you talked about business advocate office. I want to make sure that indigenous businesses are successful in the city, and the role of the business advocate is going to be actually helping them as well.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Sohi. I'm just wondering whether there is any supports for students of indigenous communities that will be coming out of many universities, and what kind of support can you give to these children who were taken from their parents and whose families are still suffering from the trauma that happened many years ago?
So, one thing that I firmly believe in is that our city, in every aspect, from workforce to appointments on boards and agencies, should be reflective of our community. And indigenous communities should be part and parcel of their workforce, those boards and agencies serving on them and contributing and making our community a better place. That's where I see opportunities. I also see making transit affordable and accessible for students and everyone else helps everyone move around the city, find a better job, and connections to the community. The leisure access program that I advocated for allows low income families to access leisure facilities and cultural facilities free of charge. And so those are the things, the services that city provides touches on people's lives every day. And those services should be accessible and affordable to every Edmontonian, including Indigenous youth and students.
Um, Ty, do you want to take the next question?
Yeah, sure. So my next question kind of builds into the indigenous theme here. One of your platform lines is talking about renaming public spaces and buildings.
Yes. Hmm.
Yes. Now, does under a Mayor Sohi, do you think we will be seeing more? Like we just went through the wards being renamed as indigenous, uh, based on the land and stuff. And do you foresee more public buildings being part of that process? Is there anything? Is there like would the city be pushing the naming to take that route, or how do you envision that taking planning out?
When the issue of Grandin
Yeah.
came into public view, there was a lot of reaction from the
Hmm.
community. And some of that reaction actually led to polarization in our community. Some people wanted to take the name off. Some people were saying you are canceling culture, right? I
Yeah,
want to
that's kind of
avoid,
like my follow up there. Is
right?
that how are you going to
I
deal with that polarization,
I
right?
want to avoid that kind of polarization. I want to bring community together in a proactive way, look at our history of our city, and have a thorough conversation led by indigenous communities and other Edmontonians to look at the good of the history and the bad of the history. And come up with a plan and policy that will allow us to remove some of those problematic names from our public places, from statues and others, right? I want to have that proactive approach, so where we can use this as a vehicle for education, engaging Edmontonians about the history of marginalization of indigenous peoples and why some of those imageries and names, when people see, they cause that pain. They bring back that terrible memory of oppression and colonization. And but there's two ways to do it. One is to polarize the community, and the other one is to actually pull them together, bring them to the table, and have that thorough conversation. And through those discussions, come up with a plan to how we're going to correct this.
Thank you so much. It's really from the communities that have the trauma that also have the solutions to their trauma. So it's great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's great that you said that. The question that I have is how is the economy going to, get re-energized? COVID has given such a huge hit to our, businesses. So many businesses had to close down, and their revenues had gone so low. And just because of the federal injection of funds, people survived, some of them didn't. So what can we do? I know that you're creating this advocate office, and I really appreciate that because it will cut a lot of red tape. But what other things can we do to bring back some of the businesses that have gone down under, and some of the unemployment situations? I know there's a lot of people who are like a lot of companies actually that are not getting enough people in trades and other things, and because the federal government is giving them money and they're sitting at home enjoying that, right? So like, what do you think about bringing these people back to work, to the workforce?
Well, first of all, I believe that impact of COVID, it's not just a belief; it's real. It has been so devastating on our economy, particularly our downtown, Chinatown, and other business districts where businesses rely on people coming to the store, whether they're a bar or a pub or a restaurant or a theater venue, cultural venue. Those people have been devastated by the COVID, and we need recovery should focus on them. So city has announced the recovery plan, which I fully support, and we're going to do more things. I have announced $1.2 million to support artists, and we can use that money to enable artists to create artwork that can be helped by animating back alleys in the downtown, or animating storefronts in the downtown or Chinatown, on Little Italy and other business districts. And doing business in Edmonton should be affordable. That's why we announced the guaranteed timelines for building permits and inspections. Uh, and one of the I think one of the most damaging that is happening at this time is the lack of leadership from the provincial government to control the fourth wave of COVID, and that lack of leadership is hurting our businesses. They were opening, now they have to bring in more restrictions. That uncertainty and unpredictability that has been caused by the lack of coordinated and consistent plan and kind of a disjointed messaging from the province and lack of leadership is hurting our businesses. We need to provide that leadership and grow our economy, diversify our economy to create those opportunities.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Ty, would you like to take another
I got
question
a,
before we close?
I do have another question. Yeah. So Soti, you have 10 commitments downtown that you recently released today.
Yeah.
And in here, I noticed, and forgive me, maybe I've misspoke here, but I've noticed there's nothing that addresses derelict properties, like houses that have been left there, abandoned by owners. You talk about office space, but not the residential properties. So is there a plan for that in your vision here, or how you plan on managing that problem in downtown
So,
Edmonton?
so when I look at downtown and what we need to do, I see immediate steps that we can take. Then I look at long-term solutions.
Okay.
Dealing with derelict properties and some of the landlords who don't look after their properties is part of the medium to long-term plan that the things we can do that are in cities' control. Absolutely, I want to explore those options because sometimes the tools are very, very limited for municipalities to do so. But these 10 things are immediate that we can do to provide some relief and bring more cleanliness and activity and help people come back downtown to do business, to live downtown, continue to live downtown, and more people living downtown and visiting downtown. So the 10 things are immediate because they focus on more support for cleaning our streets, picking up litter from overflowing garbage bins and LRT stations, or having more trained support available for people to be connected to service or working better with business associations. So these are immediate steps, but the long-term solution to the challenges our downtown facing is how we tackle intersecting issues of homelessness, mental health, addiction that is causing havoc, killing our people every day. Edmontonians are dying on our street and in their homes because of the lack of leadership and support from this provincial government. And I want to build a coalition of leaders from our city, from the business, from nonprofit sector, from faith communities, from cultural communities, from indigenous communities, from arts and culture. Every aspect of our community, every sector of our community, I'm going to bring leaders to the table. And with them, do a strong, coordinated, community-based advocacy to this provincial government that Edmonton should matter, that investing in people here in our city should matter to this provincial government, that healing the pain and trauma, and that and the impact of mental health and addiction should be a priority for this government. And I want to work with them, but I want to also ensure that community is behind it, that community is supporting that advocacy, not just supporting but leading that advocacy.
Wow, Mr. Sohi, it just shows your passion and your dedication to this cause. And I'm really looking forward to see what happens on October 18th. I really want to thank you for your time, for joining us and sharing your passion and commitment to our city. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and good luck. What you're starting is very innovative. Your couple of friends who got together started this business. That's what Edmontonians are, putting ideas into tangible actions, and that's exactly what you're doing. And that's kind of innovation and local creativity that we need to support. And I'll be there for you and businesses like yours to flourish. And look forward to interacting with you more often and as we go on the campaign, but also beyond the campaign if I get elected.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you.